Now. All right, this is the Random Shuffle. I'm your host, Ray Swaby. Guys, we got a special guest in the building, Dr. Rahb Westmoreland. Yes, also known as Dr. Rob. Y'all can find him on Instagram and on TikTok. All right. He is a trauma informed coach, author, and the founder of Headstrong. All right. He works with high performance performers, leaders, people who have built success on the outside but are still carrying things intentionally that nobody sees. His whole approach flips the script, not just therapy, but training the mind, rebuilding identity, and helping people actually reclaim themselves. If you have ever felt like you had to hold it all together while quietly falling apart, this conversation is for you. Dr.
Yeah.
Rob, welcome to the Random Shuffle.
Oh, what's going on? How you doing? How you doing?
Brooklyn stand up. Yes, welcome to the Random
Hey, come
Shuffle,
on.
man.
So yeah. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yeah. So before we get into, I want to ask you a couple questions. Where did this career come all about? Why did you get uh how did you get introduced into becoming someone that's generally out to help people?
I grew up in the home of a clinician. My mother ran a clinic in Brooklyn, New York, for 20 something years, and was a mental health advocate. My mother also was a therapist. Um, and having my mother in 2020, well, back in 2019, she was diagnosed with having dementia. And there were some factors that happened that later led to my mother dying. My mother died from stage 4 cancer, had to return to her like 7 years later. And during that time, she was being medically gaslit. She kept telling people she was in pain, and they kept ignoring her and saying it was dementia. Um, my mother literally was back in stage 4 cancer, and the cancer literally metastasized over her entire body. And so maybe getting to this was understanding. At first, I was becoming a psychiatrist. I wanted to become a psychiatrist. And then I realized they just see people for 15 minutes and I ain't got time for that shit. So, what made me get into this was knowing that there's a need for African Americans to have advocacy, and especially African American men to have advocacy around mental health. And so, my mother's death was the catalyst for me to getting into this field, because sometimes, so many times, we are misrepresentative. We're unheard, we're ignored, we're medicated, over medicated, and then told to go deal with it and not have any resources. And so my mother's death was the catalyst for me getting into this field.
Mm. And if you don't mind me asking,
Mhm.
what how were you how were you able to move on mentally after your mom's passing?
6 years later, my mother prepared me for her death. My mother wrote her obituary when she was attending St. Joseph's College, and she put Dr. Robert Westmoreland in the obituary that she did in her death and dying class. And I've always been prepared. My mother had me at 40. My mother died when I turned 40. And the way to prepare for was just being prepared. When you have a mother that's 80 years old, that's lived a life, and she had you at an old age, I was raised by old folk. So being raised by old folk, now that I'm saying that, I'm calling myself old, yeah. So being raised by old folk, you always have a preparation for death. Death is the ultimate reality that we all have to face. And I was able to help. One of the things was helping my mother to liberate herself. My mother kept holding on because we had an estranged she had an estranged daughter who she hadn't seen for almost 20 years. And I just told her, I said, if you need my permission to go, then you can go. And she looked over me and she said, thank you. My mother was gone the next day. And so making that peace that she did the best she could. She was a shitty mother because she was out there saving everybody else's life as a child, but she was a better mother to us as adults. And um the way I got was able to rapidly move from it was knowing that we had 40 years. And she did the best she could. I did the best I could. No regrets. I said everything I needed to say. I said you was a fucked up mother to us as a child. She asked for forgiveness. All these things that we needed to say were said. So when she finally transitioned, there were no words left to be said except goodbye. And so yes, it hurts. There are many things. Me buying my first home and not having her to be here, except her urn is here. Um, was ways of just, those are regrets of not saying physically, hey, this room is this and that room is this and this could be your bedroom. Those are things that still haunt. But the mere fact is my mother is at peace, and that's all that matters to me at the end of the day. So that's one of the things. And then having lost two children behind that, and you deal with shit. You
Yeah.
deal with shit. And dealing with that shit is understanding that there's a saying of mine, pick a struggle. Am I going to have to watch this person physically suffer, or I'm just going to have to let them go to know that they're going to be in peace and no longer in pain? And so those are things that I have to deal with, and those are my realities. Pick a struggle: pain and suffering, or relief and peace. And that's how I look at life at those black and white terms.
Shit, it's a good way to look at it. Let me ask you this: Why do you think people, when it comes to a sick parent or someone that's sick in their family, why do you think people normally choose pain and suffering rather than letting that person go?
A lot of people have unhealed wounds, unhealed regrets, and they will pick the pain and suffering is because sometimes we default to thinking that we deserve it. We
Yeah,
have an internal victimization that we default to, that when shit is happening and the shit gets real, we believe that we deserve it instead of understanding it is a lesson. All things are lessons that the universe would have us to learn. What the fuck are you learning? You're learning that everything has to die. We're all, dear church people, there will be no rapture. You have to learn that everything must die and we have to leave this body one day. It is a machine that is going to cut off one day, and you have to get out of it. And so one of the things we have to face that reality is that we're going to die, and that it is a lesson. The last lesson we learn in life is death.
right.
And people feel that they have to go through it, because they have to go through the pain and the suffering because they think they deserve it. You don't deserve the pain and the suffering, but what you do deserve is the lesson,
Yeah,
because somebody else is going to die. How are you going? For instance, my grandmother will be deceased. June 22nd will be a year. I was there to help my grandmother. I whispered her. I said, and pardon me, y'all, because I'm about to get real raw with y'all. I said, "Nigga, get up." And those are my code words to my grandmother, and she knew what that meant, because she had been actively dying, and everybody around her is talking. And I hope I'm answering y'all question. It was talking, and she needed to hear the word "nigga, get up." My grandmother, I left that room. My grandmother was gone a few minutes later, because when we look at death, death is a blessing. Pain is the problem. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of how it's going to feel. And so when you suffer, you default to saying, I deserve this pain. You don't deserve the pain, but you deserve the lesson. What is it teaching you? What is pain and suffering teaching you? Do you want your children to go through that when you're dying? And so the great parent is saying, listen, I'm dying, y'all. I ain't gonna be here in a couple of days. I need y'all to get y'all shit together. I'm in pain. Let me go. Because a lot of times our parents will often stay and suffer in the dying process because they're afraid, or we're afraid of letting them go. And one thing death and dying has taught me, it's okay to let people go. So,
yeah. And hearing you say this, to be honest, I don't have the best relationship with my dad,
mhm,
but I know that in order for me to be fully complete, or in order for me to be a man, I have to understand that he is who he is. And I always recommend that to people, like, listen, you might not have the best relationship with them. I'm not saying kumbaya, do all this
mhm,
stuff, but that person could be gone tomorrow.
yeah. It's a fact.
Yeah, understand who they are as a person. That you don't have to be cool with them. Understand
Mhm.
them who they are as a person, and I recommend
Yeah,
that to people.
it's highly recommendable. My father and I, we used to live together up to 3 years ago. I lived with my father for a couple of months, and it was something. It was a second parenting opportunity. I was going through a diagnosis that I had been diagnosed with through my treatments, and was finishing school, and I lived with my dad. And my father is a result of being abandoned from his childhood to being a drug addict, and also having bipolar and schizophrenic. So he's doing the best he can with what he knows. And part of mental health is meeting people where they're at, and understanding that he cannot be the father that I have in my head of who I need him to be. So I am the father that I need me to be.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
can't give an assignment to someone who doesn't have the capability to give me what I want, but I have the capability of giving me what I want for myself.
Right.
So,
Yeah. I'm happy. Thank you for sharing that. All right, let's go into our first segment. So
mhm,
this first segment is called Anger Crash Outs Emotional Release. All right? Because you talk a lot about this. So let me ask you this. All right. So you talk a lot about anger being healthy. Why do
mhm.
you think people are taught to suppress it instead of understanding?
Anger is displaced passion. Anger is going to fuel you to do things that you normally would not do. And crashing out is one of those things. Why is crashing out important? Because it's called somatic healing. Because the more you suppress your feelings, the more you get more angry. The more you live in the realm of regret. The more you ever seen a pressure cooker?
Yes.
If you don't take that pressure valve off, that thing is going to explode.
Mm-hmm.
Why do people really explode? Crashing out is the result of people exploding. They should have told the truth years ago. They should have handled the shit years ago. But now the crash out is the result of I've been under pressure for years, and now I'm fucking going off. But you should have handled it a couple of years ago. We're just seeing the results of the spaghetti on the wall and the ceiling of what you've been carrying for years. Why is it important to let your anger out? Because there are comorbidities that come with that: high blood pressure, PCOS, cancer. All these different things happen as a result of holding anger. What is anger really? When you hold it, it becomes poison. So when you let it out and you give it a release, it no longer stays in your body. Dr. The author of The Body Keeps Score, your body literally holds things in. You know why a lot of people are constipated?
Why?
Because they're holding a lot of shit in.
No,
Da-da-da.
it's true. It's true.
Okay. And those are results of holding in anger. Because when your body won't move something, it's an indication that you are literally holding on to something that is harming you. Pain, anger, suffering. Again, the defaulting, I deserve this thing. You don't deserve it. You deserve the lesson, but you don't deserve the pain.
Mm.
And part of that anger comes out through that anger. So when I say your crash outs are valid, they are valid. You've been holding on to something and you finally released it. And okay, the consequences, you're probably going to jail.
Yeah. Depends on how long you held it in for.
how
You
long
might
how
go to
long you held
prison.
it there?
Yeah.
You might be going to
Yeah.
jail. You might be going to county. You might be going
Yeah.
to county for the night. But I hope you got bail money.
So when people crash out, all
Mhm.
right, society labels it as losing control. What's actually happening in those moments?
You're gaining control. We are so delusioned when we're angry. When watch this, I'll give you an example. When people are committing crimes out of anger, they don't see what they're doing. They see what they did. You don't have control. A lot of times people don't have control when they're angry because they're seeing black and white. They're seeing black. A crash out is a blank out. I just went offline mentally. I am fucking everything up. I'm in pain. I'm in suffering. I'm tired. I'm motherfucking tired. And so now you motherfucking tired. And now you're in control again. Now you see what the fuck you did. You done tore the whole house apart. You're back online. You're back in control. You're temporary insanity.
Yeah, it's temporary. Yeah.
It's not permanent. It's temporary insanity. And insanity can teach you a lot about yourself, that you have a laundry list of things that you can, you know what the problem is? I'm gonna tell you, use you for an example. You hold on to a lot of shit right now.
Me?
You, there's another part of me that you don't know. You holding on to a lot of shit right now. If you could take a bat and go into a room, and a room with nothing but glass and break up all that glass, you'll come out better than you were before you went in.
Oh, absolutely.
You'll cry, you'll crash out, you'll break some shit, and you'll look around the room and you'll see, oh, I'm back in control now.
Because the temporary suffering is over.
It's relief.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? One thing though, for people that hold things in, I think it's kind of difficult to train that because they're
It
so
is.
used to holding that trauma in.
On the back end of the trauma is most people have been coveted or put into a covenant of silence. Don't tell nobody this happened. Or like what happened to my mother when she told her mother that her brother was molesting her. If you tell this, I'm going to kill you. That's a lot. And when you're holding it in, you feel that you're responsible for managing everyone else's feelings except your own. And so, because of what you're carrying, you are managing everybody else, but you're not managing how you're really feeling. I'm in fucking pain. I am suffering right now. And so, the silence is even the worst killer than the anger. Because silence says stay mute and don't tell anybody how you feel. That's why a lot of men can't tell their problem. That's why a lot of men aren't very verbalized. They don't have the vocabulary to tell what they're going through because they've been told boys don't complain.
Right.
Boys stay silent. So the majority of anger that we have is really amongst men. It's the silent anger. Because you ever watch a man and his wife is just going off and he's just quiet, but you know he's angry. And you know he's consumable. He's combustible. And that's because that's silence. We teach men to be silent instead of saying, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. True.
The abnormal has become normal.
Do you think we'll ever come to a point where it's normalized that men can be vulnerable and express their feelings when they're angry? Do you think we'll get
I
to that
think
point?
I'm not Martin Luther King. I don't have no dream.
Uh,
Um,
nah.
I think that I think that when we create spaces where men can be men and really vulnerable. I used to do something when I was in Wisconsin. I used to have men come to my house. We sit on the floor and move the couch to the side, be on the floor, and allow men to just really have conversations. Because I dig deep in conversation. I go deep. I go beyond the surface. And allowing men to cry, I think if we create those spaces. See, the problem is we got a lot of ignorance, and a lot of times you have ignorant people perpetuating that when men get around each other and they're crying, that it's gay.
Yeah.
It's actually, well, gays don't do that. So I hate to really gays don't do that. That act of making everything homoerotic is really the barrier that's causing a lot of men to not be vulnerable, because truthfully a lot of men are heterosexual, but they're really more comfortable around being around more men because other men allow them to express it. That's why they smoke the weed. That's why they drink, because it's an outlet to express themselves. They don't know that they're really giving themselves unhealthy forms of therapy by doing these means of expressing themselves because they don't feel comfortable sober talking about it. And so, we can create spaces. I think if men will allow themselves to go into men's groups and get around each other, fraternities and all these different outlets that we can use, I think we can create this space. But will it ever be the normal? It will not be the normal, because there's always a group of ignorant people in the majority that will suppress men from being men.
Yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree. So, is there a difference between destructive anger and necessary anger?
Oh, absolutely.
Explain.
Yeah. Destructive anger is tearing up shit. What's the other anger you said?
Necessary anger.
Necessary anger. It's necessary. Yeah, necessary anger gets things done. Destructive anger, now destructive anger can be necessary too.
Yeah, it can be.
It can be necessary.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need destructive anger. Destructive, you sometimes in order, sometimes you have to raise a city, RAZE, in order to build a better city. And so sometimes the destructive anger is tearing things apart so you can rebuild. But and also destructive anger can also get you out of toxic relationships. Destructive anger will make you move away from a toxic ass family to another part of the country. Destructive anger has a place. Necessary anger is just the positive form of it, but they're both positive. I think anger in any form is positive when it has a purpose and intention. Um, I don't believe in the dualities. So the dualistic part of it is saying, oh, good and bad. All things are good when they have results.
Right.
Is the result in your favor? It's the question.
Yeah.
So I honestly, I don't. I think destructive serves a purpose. I think necessary serves a purpose. It's just really about the intention at the end of the day and what is the result. Um, for instance, there was destructive. I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole for a second. I was dating somebody and I slashed their tires. Shout out to Rico George. Um,
You slash their tires?
slashed their tires. I did. I did. And I bust the window out there. I bust their windows open. This is my 20s, back in the days of my 20s. And it was destructive, but they were playing me. They ain't played nobody else. They married the next person. So did it have a purpose?
Did they know it was you?
All they knew was me. I
Okay.
sent pictures. I was a crash out. I was a crash out. I sent pictures. What's that little phone? We had a little razor flip phone. Yeah, I did that. And you go to the cops and will whoop your ass. They married the next one. All crash outs about it.
Oh man, that's crazy. But I understand it though.
They married the
Sometimes
next
it's
one.
like you said. Sometimes it is necessary because I believe if there's a meaning behind it,
Hmm?
it makes sense,
Absolutely.
right? So
Absolutely.
it makes sense. So are most people actually unstoppable or just emotionally backed up?
Everyone's unstoppable. But some of us are emotionally constipated.
Oh, sorry. I want to. My bad.
Mhm.
Are most people actually unstable or just emotionally backed up?
I'm gonna give you the real answer. We all are unstable and back the fuck up.
That part.
Therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, nurses, doctors are all fucking unstable. And those are the people that mainly see me.
That part. 100%.
We make
100%.
it we make it abnormal, and we ostracize people because we don't want to see ourselves in other people. The unstable do not like the unstable, and everybody puts on these airs of being perfect. You are all fucked up. From the celebrities that come to me, from the high volume people that come to me, they're all fucked up. Little money, and if you have more money, you're even gonna be even more fucked up.
And the bad part is when you know you're fucked up and you're trying to preach your fucked upness, and they don't that's not a word, but we're gonna make that a word. Your fucked upness to other people. That is
That
the
part.
problem. That
That
is the
part.
problem. Yeah.
Christopher Biggie Smalls Wallace said, "More money, more problems."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so segment two, we're gonna
hmm
call it energy identity being too much. So,
Mm.
where does the belief of being too much actually come from?
That comes from people wanting to control other people. You're doing too much. What am I doing exactly? They never can tell you exactly what you're doing. I'm doing too much. What am I doing? That's too much. Now, there are times where people are just extra extroverted in public place. I'm like, girl, shut the fuck up. We in the streets now. Sometimes it is, but a majority of it, I would say 80% of it is people who are uncomfortable around other people with their truth, living their truth, and they're telling them that they're doing too much.
Hmm. Okay.
Majority of that is people's need to control other people's expression of themselves. And when you're light, darkness can't stand you. And so you're doing too much because why? I'm happy. Why? Because I walk into the room and everybody looks at me, and because you're insecure with yourself, so now you want to take that shit out of me. Your insecurity is not my problem. And so that doing too much aspect, what people are saying is the need to control them. I need you to control. I need you to stop expressing yourself because it's making me feel insecure about myself. Nobody's looking at me.
Hmm. Okay. And how often is it just the wrong environment?
It depends. It varies by people. It could be environmental. It could just be people don't know who they are.
Yeah.
Know thyself. Because when you know yourself, you become unstoppable. And when people don't know themselves, they become stoppable. You operate under the dictation of everyone else and what they want and what they expect about you when you don't know yourself. Once you know who you are, no one can tell you anything about anything else. Your identity can't be robbed.
Yeah. I had to hit rock bottom before I found out who I was.
Rock bottom is the beginning of all Genesis, all new things. When you hit rock bottom, you can't go any lower. Your ass is on the floor.
Yeah.
All you can do is stand up.
All you can do is stand up. You got no choice. Like my mom said, you got no choice.
Where you gonna go? You can't go any lower.
You got no choice. Yeah. So how do you know if you need to grow versus just changing your circle?
We all need to grow. We all need to evolve. And part of that evolution is there are some people that you cannot take with you to your next level of growth. You know you need to grow when you're tired of tired. You know you need to grow when everyone around you is still in the same place they were at 10 years ago, 5 years ago, when no one else is growing. Stagnant water stinks. Your life begins to stink. It begins to something's wrong. And a lot of people are waking up every day saying something is wrong. That's your spirit telling you it's time to grow up. There is an inherited uh positioning system on the inside of us that challenges us to grow up. And when you are always tired, it's time to grow up because what's working, what's around you is no longer working. You no longer can evolve in the environment that you're in, and your compass is saying grow up. And so when you hear that, people get up I'm tired. Something's wrong. Something's trying to talk to you and say it's time to grow up. It's time to, the environment is, you're too small for the environment. You're a bluefish in a pond. You need to get in the ocean or whatever they go to, river,
Yeah, wherever they go to. But you know
wherever
what?
they go to.
It's difficult though. It's difficult for
It
a lot of
is.
people because even though that in your mind you wake up and your mind is saying, "Yo, we got to change." Sometimes you understand that you got to change, but you don't do it because everything is comfortable right now. It's convenient. People like convenience.
They
Well, they
like
don't like it, but
convenience.
they prefer it.
They lean to it more.
Right.
It's comfortable. It's familiar. Familiarity will get us killed. Who the hell gets up? I've moved. I've lived in 4 different countries. I've moved every 2 years. This is probably the longest I'll be in the city. I'll probably be here 3 years. But
I'm
the
laughing because
unfamiliar.
I'm laughing because I move all the time too. That's why
Mm,
I'm laughing.
the unfamiliar. I lived in Europe. I lived in North Carolina. I've lived in Germany. I've lived in Wales. I've lived in London. Uh, Everywhere. New York. I lived in New York 3 times. Born in New York. Lived there three. Went back 3 times. Listen, it's part of your growth. If you don't challenge yourself, you'll never grow. If you want to know why opportunities keep missing you, is because you won't go get them. You can't be. I hate to say this. You got to stop being passive aggressive with what God has given you. A lot of us become passive aggressive, and if I do this, God be like, go get it. What you doing? You waiting on me? I'm waiting on you. Sometimes you just got to go get it. And if you're hungry enough, you know that you're going to have to separate yourself from what's keeping you stagnant and say, I got to do better. And it's hard, even in the hood. Now the hood is hard.
Yeah.
The hood is even harder because if you in an environment, and I'm in the hood right now, I live in the hood. I'm what you call, I'm in Chicago and I'm Hyde Park adjacent. I'm in the hood, and the bougie are across the street, and all of us hood boogers are over here. And it's kind of hard that when you live in environments where you're in food deserts, uh, the job market is horrible. How do you get around that? It takes really good execution, but also takes mentorship. It takes finding people who are doing better than you, who are not jealous, because a lot of people, they get stupid and jealous that you're trying to grow. But it also takes, if you can't find people, if you can't find people, you can always go to a library. You can always go to places of resources and look up people of where you want to go to and make that your destination. Because without a vision, people will perish. If you don't see something for yourself, you're going to perish. And so finding out that you have the ability, hey, you need, if you're listening to me right now, you have permission to go live and you have permission to obtain better. If that's what you need to hear, I'm telling you right now, you have permission to go do it. Allowing yourself to see better. So I kept seeing better. And I grew up in the projects and I couldn't see better. Until I caught something better, until I started going into the other neighborhoods, until I started, hanging there and watching there. Internet is new for me. Was new for me when I was 16, and so I started going into other neighborhoods and seeing how they were living and saying, okay, if they can do it, then I can do it. Because listen, just because I live here don't mean I need to stay here.
Right.
And so you have to see yourself beyond where you're at and write it down, because if it's something is written down, it becomes materialistic. It becomes materialized when you write your vision down. I was just writing down I just have my vision for the next couple of years, because I'm back in school, and what am I going to do with my next license? And what city am I going to live? I had to write it down, because if you don't write it down, it's not going to be real to you. So start to write things down that you want to materialize so you can map it. And when you map it, begin to ask yourself for wisdom on the inside. How do I get there?
Yeah. Shout out to
And you'll be
people that have
surprised.
yeah, shout out to people that have vision boards. I'm a big
Hmm.
person. I'm a person on vision boards as well. I thought it was something that I couldn't be consistent with, but to be honest, it's helped me carry this podcast. It's helped me stay committed to what I want to do. So
Hmm.
it's good to hear that someone of your caliber has a vision board. Um,
Absolutely. I have an altar and a vision board. I
yeah,
have a place where I go heal, and I have a place where I go see. Yeah, you need a vision. You will perish if you don't see nothing ahead. If you don't have a goalpost, then how the hell you gonna get there?
How the hell are you gonna get there? Exactly. Exactly. All right, so how many people are living smaller just to be accepted?
Millions, millions, millions of people are living smaller to be accepted because they don't realize that they are the majority, but they act like the minority. Staying small to please other people is because you want to be accepted in a society that you have to make on your own. I'm a counteractive person. I'm a rebel by nature. I do shit the way I want to do it. I say what the way I want to say, and I don't care about the political correctness about it. I said what I said. Oh, you gonna cancel me? Oh, fucking well. I'm still gonna talk my shit anyhow. Too many people are afraid to live there because they're not gonna accept me, but they don't accept you anyway. Pick struggle. Is it better to walk? Is it better to walk alone or to be in a crowded room and still feel alone? I'm going for the first option
Yeah.
because you're accepting what people are giving to you instead of going and making what you can get for yourself. And I've learned a long time ago it's better to walk alone because I ain't got nobody on my back and I ain't got to take care of nobody either. Because one of the things that happened to you use MC Hammer. Stanley fed all them people and employed all them people, but he still was lonely because they only wanted you're only as good to people as what they need from you.
Yeah. It's true.
Because when they get it from you, they done.
They're done. Yeah.
The passion that they used to call you, to check on you when they needed you, when they got what they needed from you, you still alone. So what is it better, be alone or be alone in a crowded room? I picked the first one.
Yeah. I picked the first one too. And it's an old saying, but it's true to this day. Have a small circle.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely,
You see it when
absolutely,
you get older. You see maybe
absolutely.
as a kid you don't know because as a kid you're still trying to find your friends. You're still trying to
Mhm.
find out who you are. But as you get older, you realize like, oh,
Small circles are best. And every religious leader has always had every world changer religious leaders had a small circle or inner circle. Jesus had 12 disciples, but he had three in his inner circle. The prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had Ibn Kabar and some other Uthman, one of the two, as his inner circle, but he had all these people around him. The Buddha, all these figures had a smaller inner circle because that is where they can let their hair down. That's where they can be themselves fully, and that's also the incubator of where you can grow. You grow with your inner circle. You don't grow with the crowd.
no, no,
And it's like there were I think the four black men that became doctors. I think they went to Rutgers University, and they made a vow together to get through school together, and they made it. Your circle should be growing with you. If listen, I'm going to say, if you're going to be a good drug dealer, then be a good drug dealer and make sure you buy property in your community and rebuild. Because if you're going to be a drug just to be having some car, you a waste of time.
yeah,
You're a waste of time. And that's what a lot of people they don't have business acumen and they don't have vision. You got to be a visionary. You have and if you want to be something in life, you have to be a visionary. Anybody can be a visionary. It's a change of mind.
change your mind. Is a change your mind. And once you get that vision, like I'm speaking for myself.
Mhm.
Once you get that vision and you know that's what you want, you will be surprised where your mind takes you and how
Oh yeah.
dedicated you are to what you
Oh
want to
yeah.
get. Yeah.
Oh yeah, your mind will unfold some things to you, give you some ideas. You'll find out some things about yourself just going on your path because what's for you is for you and it will support you.
Mm-hmm. Better
Support you.
preach. All right. So our next segment we're gonna do is life purpose ancestors in training. Now this is one of the ones I really wanted to talk about because
Okay.
I stumbled across this video. I was like, I can't wait to have him on the show because I wanted to know the true meaning, what you meant behind it. So what
Mhm.
does ancestors in training really mean?
For some of us, we have generations of people coming behind us. And in the traditional aspect, someday somebody, we're going to be a memory to someone. And if you're, while you are living, create a legacy that people truly can remember. We are ancestors in training. One day I will be dead. One day there will be a grave or whatever they scatter my bone. I don't care what they do. But one day somebody's going to talk about me or somebody's going to stumble upon a video and it's going to touch them. Or they're going to hear an audio and it's going to touch them. We have to realize we make major impact in this world. You may feel invisible, but I'm going to tell you this, somebody's watching you. Somebody's taking notes from you. Somebody's watching how you operate through life. And you've become their ancestor in training while you don't even know it. Because for many, for instance, we all have a grandmother who made it, maybe migrated from the South or stuff like that and brought a house or took care of the family. But everybody can remember her name. She was an ancestor in training while she was alive. Now she's an ancestor. Now we got recipes. Now we have certain we do certain things. We meet family meets on Sunday every Sunday as a tradition because she started that tradition. We're ancestors. We are pioneers for someone else. We're trailblazers for someone else. And we have to be responsible for how we do life because somebody behind me is watching. Somebody behind me will make a way. If I becoming one of the first physicians in the family, or becoming my great grandmother, Alberta Kent Baker, was one of the first nurse practitioners, one of the first nurses in the state of Georgia. My mother, same line. Do you see? If she didn't do it, my grandfather, my mother's father, graduated from Tuskegee. If we didn't have a man in the family to tell us that we can go to college and get a degree, then who was going to do it?
Right.
Those are ancestors. And so because their ancestors did it, I can do it too. And so for black people, we have to understand our ancestors survived the Middle Passage. We can survive anything because we are the blood of survivors.
Better preach it. You better
And when
preach
you
it.
understand that, you are unstoppable by default.
Yeah.
So we are ancestors in training. One day somebody's gonna be thinking about you. Somebody's gonna say, Raymond. Oh, Raymond did this. Da, 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 da. Yeah, if it wasn't Grandpa Ray, Uncle Ray. Uncle Ray did, he had a radio bro and he went over and now I'm in radio now. Your ancestry is happening now. What you're doing in training to be an ancestor so you can be venerated as an ancestor because of what you're doing now.
Mm,
So live life intentionally because somebody's watching.
I respect that. All right. And are you living a life? So, are you living a life your family would respect?
Absolutely. If I did OnlyFans, they would have no choice but respect too. It's my ass and I'm gonna shake it. So absolutely.
I would say the same for myself. I would say the same for
Mhm.
myself. All right. So, are people disconnected from purpose today?
Yes. Social media is a big distractor. We swipe and doom scroll instead of finding our purpose. We look at a video for 30 seconds and call it a purpose. We are missing up. We used to read books. We used to write letters. We used to actually get on the phone and have conversations. Now we're texting. We are so disconnected that we're disassociated from our purpose because everything is instant gratification. We've turned into the instant gratification generation that I want it now, I want it now, I want it now, and I'm going to chat GPT and chat GPT is going to tell me my purpose. Okay, yeah. We are. We're disconnected.
Yeah,
We don't know our purposes anymore. We don't sit quiet anymore because we want to do. We want to scroll, 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 scroll. So we don't have time to work with our imagination.
you think there's a chance that we'll ever come back to that sense of reality where we need to just connect?
If art imitates life and somebody does something and we lose all the power in the world and we can never get power back again, that's the only way it's gonna happen. Other than that, no, it's gonna keep evolving.
It's cooked. Okay.
We cooked.
Hey, we cooked. All
We are
right.
cooked.
We'll go to our fourth segment.
Okay.
God, shame, self worth. Okay.
Mm.
So why do people associate God with judgment?
People associate God with judgment because God has been manufactured by people.
Oh, I know. Go into it. I know.
I did not deny God. I said God has been manufactured by people. We have yet to have any books directly from God or to say this is what God actually is. We have theories and we have passages written by people about their interpretation of God. And so now we live in a world where we have shame about somebody who's been dead for all these years telling me how to live in a modern time. So people are going to shame because they're trying to please a God that they don't even know about. And then if you go by the Abrahamic interpretation, that God seems to be a little bipolar. He's an angry God in the Old Testament. Now all of a sudden he happy, he nice nasty in the New Testament. Well, pick a struggle. What are you, God?
He's a jealous God. Yeah.
He's a jealous God. He was destroy cities, and every time there's an earthquake or something, God is mad. And so I don't think I want to be with that type of God. That God is not stable. And so the shame around that comes because you have people who represent God and preach in the name of God, but they're really destroying in the name of God.
Okay. And what does life without shame look like?
Life without shame is when you can look at yourself in the face and say, I'm doing it regardless of how I feel. Shame is a temporary displeasure of ourselves or guilt, rooted in guilt, to to remind us of quote unquote mistakes or problems that we had that condemn us. Shame. The life of the uncondemned is saying, I did it. I'm not ashamed of it. Life goes on. I used to be a stripper. So what? Taking my ass for dollars. So what? I'm not ashamed of it. Somebody tried to blackmail me with the pictures. Put them up.
Hey, money is money, man. You don't, yeah.
Hands on the knees. So I mean, what are you telling me? I don't really care. Like that shame. If I really cared what other people thought about me, I'd be ashamed and tell them, "Oh, don't. I'll send you the money that you want." No, shame disables people from ever moving forward because they always have a neck. They always have their head going back and turning back fucks up your neck.
Yeah, it does. And those people that carry a lot of shame,
Hmm?
they alone, those people that carry shame alone, they make the biggest mistakes.
They, well, you make the biggest mistake because you're always looking back. If you can't see where you're going, you're going to keep walking into walls. You're going to stumble because you're always this way. If you're always this way, you can't see what's ahead of you. You're looking backwards. You're stuck in the past and you can't get to the future. Shame. So shame is disabling. Shame will disable you. And uh, religion has played a major part in teaching people shame because it's what was supposed to liberate only in prisons.
To liberate what? Wars?
And
Start
only in
wars.
prisons. Start
Yeah.
wars and my God is better than your God, and my God knows more than your God. Now you got pissing contests with whose God is better than whose God. Okay. All right. If you need to represent your God, if you need to defend your God, there's a problem. And I'll leave it at that.
All right, this is one video that I really like that you did.
Mm-hmm.
And you had some really good valid points. Someone that grew up in a church, I'm pretty sure you did too. Most black kids did grow up in a church.
Mm-hmm.
My mom's excuse was nobody wanted to watch you. And it's right. I was a badass kid. I understand that. But you talked about let's not let's stop normalizing going to church.
Mm-hmm.
What did you mean by that?
Let's stop fucking going. What is it doing for you? It's a circus show. Praise and worship. Somebody get up there for an hour and tell you about your life. But what is it really doing for you? What has church really done for people in the modern time? But warehouse them. What's the point? Let's normalize not going. The hood still, people still get killed in the hood. The hood got 300,000 churches on every corner. What is it doing? Why are we there? So we can give the pastor some money and he can go to his house in the hills and you still live in the hood. What is it really doing for you? Why do you have to meet God at a building? I thought God was everywhere. I don't see the point of actually going to church if it's not doing anything for anybody. If you go in there because you want to relieve your guilt, shit, go to the Catholic church and get some confession in. Call your cousin up and confess if that's the case. Because what's really the point? I don't see the point of actually going to church anymore. What is it doing? Oh, you're doing it because you think you want to go to heaven. You're doing it because you think that's going to be the key to get you to heaven. So you really don't really have a relationship with God. You have a real relationship with a book and a building, and you think that's going to get you admission to heaven.
Hmm. So why do you think black folks continue to go to church
It's
after
been
all these
beaten
years?
to us. It's been beaten us. Some of it is tradition because as an African American, we're not connected to our traditions of back in Africa. We don't know exactly where we came from. Some of us came from Benin, Nigeria. Some of us came from the Congo. We don't really have a point of reference of where we really come from. So we don't really have a connection to a tradition that's passed on. So we just do what grandma taught us, what mama taught us. And so we don't understand they were doing what they were forced to do.
Yeah. And I can't speak for you, but I ain't learned a goddamn thing at church.
I ain't learned. I was a pastor. I still didn't learn shit as a
Oh, you
pastor. Default.
they had me in Sunday school every morning. I'm like, yo, I didn't understand anything.
Then they call you a reprobate mind for leaving. You're gonna take a quote from Paul in the book of Romans that he talked about a reprobate mind. No, don't people that woke the fuck up and say, get the fuck out the system. People are following Paul and not following Jesus. Anyway, I ain't learned nothing. It was a waste of time.
All right. So how many people feel judged even when nobody's judging them?
That's a lot of people.
A lot of people.
That's a lot of people. And people, is it judgment or is it guilt? Now, guilt is a compass. Judgment says you're already condemned. Guilt says you can fix the shit. Judgment says that's the end for you. So people got to know the difference between guilt and judgment. A lot of people feel judged. That's why a lot of people unalive themselves. That's why a lot of people check out in life. That's why a lot of people use substance because they already feel judged already. So they want to numb themselves.
Yeah. It's kind of sad to see nowadays, and it's been going on for I want to say 20 years now.
Mhm.
You've seen a high rate of suicide, especially millennials, Gen Z.
Mhm.
Um, why do you think that's ever going to like? Do you think that rate is going to decrease? Why do we see a big problem with people unaliving themselves for suicide?
Sad to say, I think it's going to get worse because these generations are very disconnected and the family values are not there. Parents are too busy to pay attention. Everybody's stuck on their phone and nobody's parenting anymore. Nobody's sitting down at the dinner table. Nobody's asking people how are they doing. Everyone is disconnected and they're attached to phones. They're attached to things. They're attached to objects. And so people are feeling literally the pain of loneliness. It's going to get worse.
Yeah. I
Mental
hate
health is always going to be a job
I hate
because
to
it's going
agree
to get
with you.
worse.
I hate to
It's going
agree
to get
with you,
worse.
but it's the truth.
Yeah,
It's the
it's
truth.
going to get worse. As more knowledge increases, people become more disconnected, and it's going to happen.
All right, we got one more segment. Then I want to talk
Okay.
about your book, man, because I
Okay.
have some questions, but I want to get into the segment first. So this segment is called "Society Control: Breaking Patterns." You speak a lot about this. So why are
Mm,
people taught to apologize for everything?
compliance is socially acceptable, even when you didn't do anything. It's to keep the peace. It's politically correct to apologize for something you didn't do. I'm not apologizing for shit I didn't do. Get over it.
you know, long it took me to understand that I don't have to apologize for everything I do. It took me a
Yeah,
long time.
yeah. If it's egregious, I'm apologizing and it affects other people, I'll apologize and take ownership and have a change of behavior. But if it's not, fuck you.
Yeah, I'm still learning that.
I said what I said. Oh well. You hurt my feelings. Okay.
And sometimes that apology is like, damn, I shouldn't even apologize. That I feel worse for apologizing.
I'm apologizing for how you feel about what you did. You ever see the victim apologize to the predator? That's what people teach you. Uncle Johnny molested me. I'm apologizing, Uncle Johnny, for telling the whole family you molested me. What? No.
Okay, and how do people keep others small without realizing it?
That's what we were talking about earlier about the control aspect of people. That's all it is. Uh, you're doing too much. You're just telling somebody you're doing too much. You're telling them they're to stay small. It's the same thing. You're doing too much. You're doing too much. You tell somebody that enough, they start to question themselves. They start to doubt themselves, and now they're shrunk because we're telling them they're doing too much.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'll tell you one thing, I hate being controlled. I'll tell you that.
I can't stand it. It won't stand.
Yeah.
I am a cancer by birth. You cannot control. I will cut you up, chop and screw you. No,
I don't like to be controlled because I don't control people.
right.
I'm someone that actually doesn't I don't believe in advice giving either. Like
Mm-mm.
I for me, like if advice is given, it's because you really want to or you're interested in what that person has to say,
Right.
or it's something that's gonna help you in the future. But
Mm-hmm.
advice giving, I don't want to
Mm-mm.
give advice because I feel like I'm controlling you in a certain way and
I
telling
make
you how
people pull
to.
their answers out.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't like to control, and I don't like controlling people. So
No,
that is yeah. Um. So when people keep you small, is it really about you?
it's about them.
100%.
It's about them.
100%. Yeah.
That's a them problem.
Yeah.
Don't make it a you problem.
Yeah. Don't make it a you problem. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what though? Sometimes if you don't see that it's them and you're someone that always guilt trips yourself, it
Mm-hmm.
can be difficult.
Yeah, yeah, it can be. It can be. That's why it's important again to know yourself because you'll know the barriers that people are placing on you, but you also know the boundaries to put on them. Don't talk to me that way, and don't say that to me again. I'm very clear with people about. No, you don't talk to me that way.
Yeah.
I don't talk to you that way.
Take some training to do that. I ain't gonna
It
lie to
does.
you.
It does. It takes training. It takes training, and it's people that
Yeah.
you love that will do it the most to you. And it's like, no, no, thank you.
All right. All right. So you have an interesting book out,
Hmm.
and I would like to talk about it. Also, talk a little bit about Headstrong. Um, so your book just came out, Unstoppable: How to Be
Hmm.
Confident and to Win. Why did
Hmm.
you write this book, and why do you think this book is beneficial for people to read?
Because so many people are emotionally constipated and they're stoppable. They are the people. I teach a lot of dark psychology. A lot of people don't understand that it is not people. that are our barriers. We are our barriers. We stop ourselves from doing what we want to do in life. And so the book was designed to teach you how to overcome your own hurdles, your internal hurdles that tell you that you can never make it, you'll never do this, you never do that. All these hurdles that were given to us that were adapted to us by environments we grew up in, places we lived in, people we hung around, we start adapting because we're sponges and we start taking on little bits of people and becoming a personality. And this is teaching you how to unravel that and how to really jump, not only jump over the hurdles, but kick the fucking hurdles over. Because some you kick, some you jump. And this is what the book is, to make you unstoppable in life, that whatever you believe about yourself, by the time you get to the end of the book, you're going to believe in yourself. You're going to see, a lot of us are atheists to ourselves. We believe in everything else except us. We believe in everything, every other existence except our own existence. We are self-atheists. And the book is to make you a believer in you. Not only a believer, but a knower. Because to know thyself is to heal thyself.
Mm.
So that's what the book was created for.
And can you tell us a little bit about
Mhm.
Headstrong and how you founded that company?
Headstrong, Headstrong was founded. It was a name that I held on when I first got into the field. And it's to people headstrong. You know, people, oh, she's headstrong. They make it a negative thing. It's actually a positive thing to be headstrong. What is a headstrong person? They can't be crumbled. Their walls don't break. Their foundation is unshakable. And so headstrong is a business model, a therapeutic platform company to help people see themselves and to get results. I'm into results. I don't want you coming to me because you want to be in therapy for 3,000 years. Get what you came, get your tools, and go the fuck home.
Hey, I respect that. I respect that.
We don't need a 300-year relationship with you doing therapy. Oh, why is you here? Why am I here if you still in therapy for 300 years? Are we working through this shit, or are we just gonna play patty cake and I could be your human diary for the next 30 years of your life, so I can collect insurance money and live off of you? No. Find someone else to do that.
And can you, but before we end, can you go into the classes and the stuff that
Sure.
you do on Headstrong?
So we just wrapped up our coaching classes. I just graduated my last coaching class. I'm not training any more coaches anymore. We're doing dark psychology school. People can learn how to defense against dark psychology, manipulation, Machiavellianism, narcissists. I also have there will be the Unstoppable class that will be coming very soon. I think in July we'll be launching that school. I do different classes, inner child healing, a lot of inner child healing classes. So a lot of people can resolve their inner child shit that keeps holding them back. A lot of times we're operating from the 7-year-old space and we're 45 years old. There's a problem. You're reasoning like a 7-year-old. You're acting like a 7-year-old. You're making decisions from a point of a 7-year-old because that's your place of trauma. So helping people move from their place of trauma and integrating into their adulthood is what those classes offer. So inner child is a big one. People love the inner child class, and I'll probably do another one next month. But those are places, and I'm also doing a meet and greet as well on May 24th at Stovey Inc. here in Chicago, and there's going to be an in-session therapeutic session as well too. So yeah,
Yes, we'll have all that information
yeah,
in the episode. I'll have your book information,
okay,
everything where people can find you. People are gonna love this episode, man. I want to say thank you, Dr. Rob. Thank you for coming on the show, guys. Let's thank Dr. Rob.
thank you,
This is the Random Shuffle. I'm your host, Ray Swaby. Thank you so much, man.
thank you,
Yes.
thank you.
Um,